Helena, can you hear me? Can you see me? Phenomenal. How's the day been so far? Did you have any coverage, any outages with the AWS service?
No, actually not. I'm sitting at a customer right now.
Love it. Amazing. Look, I'd love a little bit of an introduction for the stream, who you are, what we're building.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Helena. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Resourcely, and we're building the AI harmonization engine for manufacturers. Be basically like a Google Translate for complex part to understand what you have in inventory, what is redundant, and what you can do to reduce it.
It's quite an interesting startup when we think about it, right? It's like for the first time, we're going to get transparency over the resources that we're using, and we're going to be able to not just optimize, but reallocate.
Exactly. This is a completely different view, right? This is basically because my co-founder and I are from that industry. I mean, we were deep down in that problem space, right? I always say we made our hands dirty with it. That's why we build it not to optimize something, but to revolutionize something. And what's special about it is that we are bringing that kind of, let's say, CFO view closer towards engineering than ever before. We make inventory not just transparent in a way that is has been.
It's incredible. Where are we building this out of? Is it Germany?
Yes, yes,
Why,
yes.
why
We're
is Germany the right place?
Well, Germany and Europe has a history in manufacturing, right? I am right here sitting at a machinery manufacturer, right? And I mean, it's an incredible industry. What has happened in the past here, what kind of potential is in Germany and Europe for that? And I think this is also our competitive advantage, right? Here, it is we are connected to that industry. We build that bridge between an extremely traditional, let's say, old economy and industry, together with the AI and automation that is state of the art right now. And this is exactly that gap we want to bridge, because also whenever you do something with AI, you have to bring trust, human and technology together.
Project A is one of your investors, one of your lead investors. Why was it the right fit? And also, how much did you raise?
We raised 2.7 million in a seed now with Project A as a lead investor. Yeah, we're super happy.
Was it dollars or euros?
Euros, euros.
Euros. Okay. Well, no, it's still
More,
amazing.
you
We can
know.
now get to work with the capital. So why does
Exactly. Yeah.
why did they make sense?
Project A was, to be honest, also our, let's say, favorite, because we knew Project A has a strong footprint in industry, supply chain. We knew it's not.
Project A made, like, from my perspective, made a lot of sense. We were speaking to Jack last week or the week before last. Time just merges when you're talking to
Yeah.
these incredible startups and venture investors.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
like we spoke about off camera, it made a lot of sense from my end, someone looking in at the portfolio, because if we're optimizing a lot of hardware work, right? Or sorry, not optimizing, but we're giving transparency
Mhm.
to a lot of hardware work. And we look at the Project A investments
Yeah.
with defense and dual use, it just feels like the perfect layer that they can integrate on top of all of these processes of companies. And you've just got built-in customers ready to go as they scale.
Absolutely. While I can't talk about our next steps in terms of go-to-market just yet,
I'm on the right tracks.
it is you're kind of on a right tracks, exactly. And this is something that I just meant, right? It's not just about the money and the track record. It's about who's the right fit, not just in terms of investors, but also portfolio companies, who has incredible knowledge and experience in that kind of space and the spaces that we want to move into.
And I guess the question that I've got to ask is, as you mentioned, that was probably the hardest question that was asked during the ICs and all of the venture questions, all the venture investor questions. Why hasn't this been done before? Is it just because it's complex, or is it no one's really cared?
It's interesting that you ask that, and I love that question actually because it's one of the first asked questions. Like, it seems so obvious, right? Why hasn't it been done before? And I always say it hasn't been done before because, on the one hand, in that industry, we are talking about extreme. It is also complex.
Is the hardware part of it hard? Like deeply understanding what everything costs, communicating that to a CFO. Like, how do you make that really easy? The Google Translate element of it that you've described.
Mhm. Yes, exactly. You have to first build a foundation, right? And this is also what we learn from our customers. I always say I'm just as good as my customers because I listen to them and I listen actually to their real problems. And what they mentioned is like, finance was always complaining about engineering
When
kind of,
when when isn't finance
you know.
complaining, right? Let's just be honest. Like
And
everything
and
costs too much.
exactly, and I can say that because my co-founder comes from financial controlling at a machinery manufacturing firm, right? So they're kind of complaining that engineering always just picks the most expensive parts, right? While engineering, and I have that background, says, well, I can only pick what I see, right? And you see there's a lack of data, lack of transparency, a lack of holistic information. So the engineer just has the view on the technical specifications and that kind of domain knowledge. And this is where we realized, wait a second, this is a huge gap still, right? Between different departments having that same kind of view on everything to make better decision along the value chain. And this is why we jumped exactly right in there because we said, okay, we have to give them the opportunity even to make better decisions because that's where the source of that kind of problem happens, where too many variants happens, where redundancies happened, and yeah, it's the lack of data and information that is there, and you need extremely specialized information in this part.
It feels like today you're building something for the era, right? I feel like we're in an engineering era more than ever. We've gone past the whole fancy UX and optimizing for social and things like that, and we're back in engineering mode as like a human species when it comes to building technology. At the same time, do you find that it's difficult to communicate to CFOs and just the finance teams in previous times because they just haven't had the transparency? They haven't been able to sit on a floor of
Mhm.
a manufacturing plant and actually understand, well, that's how much this part costs and this is why we need it.
Mhm. Yeah, we have. That's why I like to speak of Google Translate, right? We have to translate between problem has been tackled before, and we are also kind of in a way. I always say democratizing the engineering kind of knowledge,
I
right?
I like the way you
Because
put that.
up,
Like, I like the way you put that. What does it end up looking like though? Because if we democratize all that knowledge and we just stick it in a dashboard, is that the goal? So that it's just continuously, updated in real time of how much these parts cost, where we can reallocate the resources. What does it look like?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's in a way super simplified, right? I always say in the front end, you have to be everything has to be super easy and clear for you, right? But in the back end, it's extremely complex because we are working with a lot of data. We are working with a lot of different data. We have one supplier that has 10 to the power of 8 variants of similar
10 to the
components, right?
power
Which
of
is
8
incredible.
variants of the same
Yes.
component.
Yes. Of their component kind of like portfolio. So it's like it's
Wow.
incredible. And this is why I'm saying, right? You can't do that with a state-of-the-art tooling or classical approaches. And engineers have a unique knowledge and
It feels very much like the evolution of the Japanese, like just in time.
Mhm, mhm,
And it's just what that to the next step plus a digital layer. I just want to jump quickly. You mentioned sustainability. Like why do we need to care about that side of this? Is it
mhm.
because like there's, part of resources the fact that we are going to have to live in a quote unquote a sustainable future? Or is it just that, it's of the now that, you've got to play the sustainable card?
Mhm. There are two perspectives. One is when Ian and I founded Resourcely, we said when we found a company nowadays, we want to do it with building a team, building a company, you have to have a higher impact. And this is something that we also see people who work with us, they care about, right? It's not just, that they want to work in a startup or they want to work in with newest technology. They want to know why they are doing it. They want to have a higher purpose. And this is one of the top things that we hear also from our team members, from employees, from anyone who's applying that this is important nowadays. At the same time, we hear it from customers. Let's face it, customers currently look most of all at money, right? How much can I save? How much can I improve
It's always the
revenue,
starting
etc.
point.
It's always the starting point. But when we show how much impact we have overall, also in terms of sustainability, they are the ones who say, hey, you're the solution, you're the first solution who can improve profitability almost from day one with a circular approach. And that's something no other startup has proven so far in their portfolio. And this is something where we say it's a cherry on top right now, but it's a more and more valuable cherry on top.
It seems like they go for the tip of the iceberg and then realize there's a whole bunch of value that sits underneath it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, humor me for a moment. When you say sustainability, what does that mean exactly?
Mhm. So sustainability for us, in the regards of Resourcely, it's coming more from the circular economy approach, right? So we are
Okay.
not like the classical decarbonization green tech startup now.
Do you
When
get do you get miscommunicated as that, or is it just very different spaces?
I would say, from a historical approach, how, sustainability is
Hmm.
divided in certain kind of aspect, I would say there are those like major differences. Like you work on a technology that's for decarbonization. I mean, it has an impact on the reduction of the CO2 emissions and everything like that. But I wouldn't consider myself with Resourcely in that direction, right?
It's
What
just a
we
byproduct of what you end up doing.
Exactly, and this is never something I would promote here. I don't think that would be correct. What is important is that we are truly, however, scrapped. We reduce inventory, right? So also making sure it's not being scrapped, and we enable our manufacturers to even reuse it, right? Tell them what's already existing, what they don't have to buy new. And this is where I'm like, this is a complete byproduct of resource labor. That is what, yeah, makes it so special.
The circular economy aspect, I think it comes out of that as well, right? Into both like like deep supply chain companies and having an understanding at like every single level. If a part goes out, if there are resources that are left available, we talk about needing to reallocate. You are consistently being able to do that. I think I go a step further. The world has become more fractionalized than ever before, right? Everything's coming near shore or onshore
Yeah.
from the offshore format we've got. And like as supply chains potentially get hit through various crises and whatever, you seem primed to be able to integrate into these relevant companies and say, well, actually, you've got this product over here, or you've got this tool over here that you can use.
Mhm.
Does that sound about right?
Yes, and what I directly think of, right? It's again, it goes all back to the data. It goes always back to the data, the transparency. There's a huge lack in data currently. So it's super hard for companies to relevant information in terms of weight. This is also relevant information in terms of sustainability, in terms of the tariff right now, compliance, right? There's so much missing information in these companies right now, which prevent from making better decisions, where we say, okay, we have to build that foundation. You have all that information to also, in times of crisis again, when you have a lack of part, when you have missing parts, we suggest you the alternatives, right? We suggest from an engineering perspective, technical specifications, but also the relevant master data.
And when
So
you
we are that
when
kind,
you say
yeah.
suggesting, right, is that both the parts that that relevant company has in-house or other manufacturers or other external third party products that they can actually just buy in?
Both, right? We first of all have that look on the own inventory, because we see that, so many companies buy stuff that they actually have or have something very similar in their own inventory or in other plants. So we harmonize it across their own sites and plants first of all, but then we also take a step beyond that and say, hey, you might not have that here right now, but we do have an alternative that is feasible in terms of technical specifications, your compliance requirements, also in terms of the sustainability. So the same technology, where we say we have to build that foundation, we have to understand similarities across suppliers, and we have to translate it. On the one hand, we can use to reduce. At the other time, on the other hand, we can use it for finding alternatives and making supply chain more resilient.
What's really hard about building Resourcely?
Um, I would say two things, right? We are a front runner in this. We are pioneering a new category.
Hmm.
So it's not something where you say, okay, this is exactly like that product. And I mean, with one of our customers, right? We had a pilot, not even like 8 weeks, and then there was the decision to roll it out across the whole company because we already had a huge financial impact, right? So this is something you have to really prove your concept and your solution extremely fast. And on the other hand, it's we grow fast, not just in terms of customers, but also in terms of, right, the investment now. We together with us. And I would say this in that kind of speed that is challenging.
Is it because there aren't enough high agency people, former founders that want to work on this type of problem, or is it because the bar for working at Resourcely, you just want missionaries, you want people that live and breathe this stuff day in day out because speed is the moat today?
hmm I would say it's a little bit of a combination. One, the bar is extremely high, yes, because we realized we can't, we can't just, step down on that, because it's too important, and also for our customers and for the mission. So we just have to, I mean, we optimized for the whole like hiring process and finding the right talent, right? The second time is yes, I mean, we are in a unique industry, right? You have to have that kind of aspiration for manufacturing. I mean, I love it, right? I mean, it has to do with something physical that we revolutionize
There's
with
something
technology,
really,
right?
really cool
So
about hardware. There's something
exactly,
really
exactly.
cool.
I mean, I just went through a plant again, I'm like, I'm the happiest girl right now.
Hey, I need an
I love
invite next time. Yeah, just call me up. I'll get
exactly.
on a plane and
You,
come.
you can come with. So I love it, right? But it is special. It's manufacturing, like traditional industry. It's B2B. It's enterprise, right? I mean, it is a special kind of a profile you have to love. But I think it's a combination. But that's why, I mean, this is up to us also to be more focused. Just as I have to classify my customers very special, we have to do it with the team as well. And I believe, I mean, whoever wants to have that chance to be in that space in a fast scale startup, which grows a lot, where you really have that kind of power, the ownership. Or if you want to learn how to build a startup from the scratch, I mean, you're the right fit here.
I feel like we need more and more of that in early stage, right? It's not just, we're hiring in for the flavor of startup that it
Yeah.
is, and we're in that era.
Yeah.
No, this is, I want high agency people that are either previous founders or just deeply
Yeah.
understand what we're building. And we are going to go on this mission together, and we are going to grow this company into
Yeah.
a decacorn, a hexacorn, whatever's after that, right?
Absolutely. And this is that. I mean, you see me, right? I'm full of energy. I want to do this. And this is I always say we will support everyone on that mission because we believe so much in it and we are all in. I can tell you from my co-founder and me. And I mean, this is a unique opportunity. One of our mentors, when we went through Techstars, even said, Ian, Helena, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Don't this up.
Oh, well, hey, look, you've got investment from Project A and other VCs in Europe. I think you're on the right tracks. Before we let you go and get back to walking the plant, I've got to ask a little bit of a lightning round. How does that sound?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Do you have a favorite customer that you just want on the books at some point? Is it like a SpaceX? Is it an ESAR Aerospace? Is it a VW as an example?
I do, but I always say I work with extremely amazing customers already, and I always say you can't really favor customers, but there are a few logos that I want to have on the list.
Is there an aspirational one, right? I know you love all your children. We love all the customers that we work with, but is there one that you're like, I want to help solve this problem?
Um, I'm honest. I don't have that one, and the ones that I have, they're not even the special kind of logos, right? It's more like unique industries. I mean, we are working with Sandvik, for example, right now, right? Swedish manufacturer, and it's a huge company, but still, it's a little bit of hidden champion. Sometimes I say because it's just in a unique industry. This is what I'm looking for because this is sometimes untapped potential in those kind of companies. There's such innovators already, and yeah. So I would say go on like companies like
I was
that.
thinking more like CERN or nuclear fission plants, but hey, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
How would your co-founder describe you?
um Front runner, stage person. She's crazy running after customers and buyers.
Just see you running through the plant like, hey,
Exactly.
wait, wait.
Exactly. I mean, we were just coming from the DPW conference, and he's like, I was the one who clicked the most apparently on the DPW, but I'm just like, I'm not talking to people. I'm talking only to the relevant people, right? But I'm not standing there. I'm literally running after them. I look at the little name tag, I'm running after them. So I would say I'm crazy. I'm absolutely crazy about customers, I would say, and really, really, yeah, helping them.
I think we've got to title that this episode "Crazy About Customers." Look, last one, right? I love to ask founders on the show, who's on your Mount Rushmore for you? Who's on the Mount Rushmore of founders for Helena?
I would
Um,
this is a good question. There were a couple ones, along my path, I would say.
from any
Uh
point in time, whatever you consider to be a founder, right? It's like it doesn't have to fit into the tech archetype.
mhm. Let me think. I mean, there's not always just that unique kind of role model. There were several, but I did look a little bit in the last couple of days, even again at the NVIDIA founder, right? How he built it up and how he builds up teams and where it has been going now. And I think this is something that I appreciate and I yeah strive for.
Okay, that's one. I need three more.
Oh, you need three more. Oh my God. Okay. Um, wow. I do believe that um, I mean, it is a little bit of a classics, but the kind of um, paths or how do I say Steve Jobs in a way with product because I
Hmm.
do think product is an incredible, like not just the customer, but product is an incredible learning from that industry. Um, I do think that wow, you got me there, right? I'm not, not that kind of just role model person. Um, one more in the
Jensen,
in the
Jobs. I know for me, when I look at you, I think of the Ford founders, right? Like think about how they built an assembly line that then they were able to convert into
uh,
building World War II planes, right?
one of the I worked at a company, SEW Eurodrive, and when I look at the founders, one of the first managing directors
Hmm.
was a woman as well. And this is something that I always like to think back because that foundation was incredible and how they grew across the world was incredible. And yeah, I think that is definitely something, the efficiency of those plans and how it is connected in that world and how the openness for innovation is. Yeah, definitely. That's that's
Love
another
it.
one.
3 out of 4. I like the last one in my head is Elon, just because of the way that that man is able to reallocate resources for you. But you tell me if that's right or wrong.
From a, let's say, founding perspective, yes.
Everything else
From
is.
several exactly, I would put aside. One of the role models I do have is the Canva founder as well, where she did it. She yeah built the unicorn with her husband as well, and this is something where I'm like, yeah, she set different kind of records in how she created that, and yeah, that's definitely my ambition.
Helena, this has been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to do a deep dive and do it again. I'll see you soon.
Okay.